What am I doing? Well, I'm just playing on my new Google Stadia platform. All I have to do is connect this controller with this bad boy and I can just stream it right to my computer. I've got disconnected like 19 times and I'm only able to play it at 720p and 30 FPS, but hey, I can take this anywhere and I can play it anywhere. That's awesome, right? Could just unplug an Xbox and take a small TV with me anywhere I wanted to go. But it's not as small as this. But the experience is infinitely better. Google has a game console known as the Stadia, and it's not an actual set-top box. It's been revealed as a fully streaming game console. But again, it's not a game console. It's supposedly more powerful than game consoles of our current generation. Even the likes of the Xbox One X, they don't stack up, they don't compare to it in terms of raw power. So, is the future of gaming streaming, or are consoles doomed from the start, since they were released? You know what? On this special episode of the News You Missed, I'm going to explain just that. So sign in and get ready to share this news with your friends, as Google is about to change video game history with the most successful streaming video game console ever, or one of the biggest failures in gaming history. Yeah, so you heard me right, the Google Stadia. Not really crazy about the name, not really sure who chose it. It's not a game console. It's the ability to stream AAA quality games like Doom onto one of these devices right here, a cell phone, and then cast it to any other device you have. Google Stadia is Google's answer to video game market in regard to a dedicated device with serious power, streaming capabilities. The device is capable of streaming games like Doom Eternal fully without any hiccups whatsoever. Basically, Google wants to take any device and be able to connect just a controller, like so, to it, and again, stream it to a TV or possibly even a tablet. But I'm telling you, most likely it's going to work in conjunction with a lot of smart TVs. Imagine being able to take a simple tablet that might cost $100 or $200 and stream high-end games on your TV. That sounds like a mobile gamer's dream. Really, honestly, college students, soldiers, they might be able to finally have some serious gaming on the go, aside from a Nintendo Switch, right? Well, not exactly. While Google is trying to explain that they have this tech, it doesn't mean that we have the tech, us. What do I mean by this? The consumer. Google has infinite resources to send and receive information, but we consumers do not. Especially here in America, where a good chunk is either heavily populated cities or nothing in nowhere, the country. Even in our society today, the best internet providers still make it difficult to send and receive data in bulk. While it's impressive to see Doom Eternal streaming at, well, let's say 4K at 60 FPS, right? Gorgeous, fluent, amazing. How is that going to translate to people without internet speeds that are outstanding? Well, it won't. It can't. Playing a game at 720p, 30 FPS streaming would be similar to Netflix, in that you can watch Netflix, so you could probably play a game at the same exact resolutions and speeds. But the problems really start when they introduce the fidelity, the view, the speed at which this can be delivered at. When you begin to raise those things, it causes a serious issue. Your hardware first needs to be able to generate the game at 4K. Some older graphics cards like GTX 980 can still struggle with this. So compare it to a tablet. You need to realize it's going to be rough to generate this amount of resolution while staying nice and cool and not completely draining the battery. Then introduce 60 FPS and you're talking about the CPU being able to generate that many frames in conjunction with the GPU. Case in point, the combined APU in many tablets and phones would have a difficult time doing that without throttling massively. Now, we're just getting to the point where we actually have phones introducing cooling to prevent overheating and creating gaming phones essentially. But the Stadia platform is not meant for dedicated gamers only. It's meant to capture casuals alike. So this presents the problem that not only with the hardware, the aforementioned data constraints are going to start coming in. People in massive cities and states that push technology, they're going to have no issues. None at all on dedicated internet speeds at home, Wi-Fi, no problem. But they will still have issues with data and the congestion of data. Tons of people in the same location utilizing the same data being throttled. This is the point in the argument where people are going to say, okay, what about unlimited data? What about being able to stream on the phone because of data? Okay, I would also like to counter throttling data once again. Let's say you're halfway through your Doom game, streaming just fine, you're out and about. But sadly, you have to use a lot of data, and you've used all that 4 gigs that your contract allows you to use. Now you're throttled. Okay? Your game is no longer 4K at 60 FPS, but back down to 720p at 30 FPS. And it looks and feels nowhere like the promised experience. You now see how genuinely it seems like a nice idea to be able to mobile game with it wherever you want to go on whatever device. But then the idea fails if you actually go outside to a place without Wi-Fi. And Google's not to blame for this, but many of the archaic laws we have where cities can only have certain internet providers, Google can't just come through every location and lay down Google Fiber. There's a lot more to it. Laws need to be passed. Votes, tons of red tape, and politics prevent America from having amazing internet speeds. It's just the sad truth. Those of us whom do have good internet pay out the nose for it. Okay? I live in the middle of nowhere, okay? I just do, and I pay $90 for 10 up and 50 down. It's great internet speed, but if I was expected to also pay for a service like Stadia, Netflix, Crunchyroll, and things like that, the price steadily increases more and more and more. So those of us who can barely afford this entertainment in the first place now can afford it even less, bearing in mind that it might not work properly anyways with those speeds. But you say, I have the internet speed, so I'm all set, no problems. Another good case is shared internet within a household or a group location, like college. If you're trying to share a line with 5 or 6 other people, the odds are you're not going to have an experience where you're never going to have a dropped frame, dropped data, disconnects, or extremely slow speeds. You have to have a very high-tier internet package that would prevent stuff like that. You can't be naive enough to think that playing a game that requires very fast movements to work, it's going to work good in streaming on a slow connection. It's just not. It's not going to work out for you. So, again, it's going to be a problem. And then to finally be able to pass a very tough section of the game, just be disconnected before you can get to a save. It's extremely frustrating and disheartening. So I want to close on this. This service will work great for people with fast internet who never buy physical copies of media and who are just on the go. They want to game and they want to do it with more than just a Nintendo Switch. But for those who live in the country, those who live in congested areas, those who share internet, you're likely going to figure out that even if you have data to play the game, it's going to lose a lot of that gameplay. Because like Netflix, what's the point in paying for 4K streaming if you never use it? I am cautiously optimistic that this will change the future of gaming. Not in a year, maybe not even in 5. But in 20 to 30 years, perhaps Google will push internet providers to meet the demand for this type of entertainment to work perfectly. But until then, I'll be playing offline with my PC, my Nintendo, and my Sega Genesis. So how about you? Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the video. I would greatly appreciate if you would like and share the video. Click that subscribe button to stay up to date with me, and give me your feedback down in the section below. Now, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. I gotta go figure out the streaming thing. I don't know if it's going to work out for me or not, since I live in the middle of nowhere. But I'll let you know if it does. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thanks for taking time out to watch the video.